Revelation 10.
Yes, Revelation 10.
The big angel, that large angel. That
Yes. We're actually coming halfway through the book of Revelation. And actually, most of the commentators believe that chapter 10 begins a time when we're midway through the tribulation, 3.5 years in. And we're going to be seeing in the next couple of weeks, we're going to be, the next sermon, for example, we're going to see the introduction to these two witnesses. Very interesting personages in the book of Revelation. Two witnesses. Who are they?
You could talk a little bit about those different theories?
Yeah, well, we'll talk about that next week.
Yeah.
And then we're going to begin this. We're in between the sixth and the seventh trumpet. There's a kind of an interval here, a silence. But God is preparing us for what's coming, what's going to come about. And it's really intense. And judgment, we're going to talk about the bowl judgments. And then we're going to be introduced to the Antichrist and the beast. So it gets very intense. And in chapter 10, we're introduced to this mighty angel that comes from heaven. He stands with one foot on the land and one in the water, and he's got a little scroll in his hand. You know, this, when we talk scroll, it's like typical, like saying a book for us. But back then, they didn't have that. He has a scroll, and then we hear these. And he's got a voice like a roaring lion. It's loud, and he introduces us to seven thunders, the voice of seven thunders. But basically what he does is he commands John to write down, to seal up this prophecy, what's going to happen in the judgments. And then, interesting, this angel comes and he tells him, John, to take this scroll, and what he does is he tells him to eat it.
Another trick. He ate it. He ate the scroll. I don't know how you did it.
Oh, it's making my stomach. I feel. Excuse me. I got. Oh. Wow, pretty cool, huh? Anyway, it's going to be interesting, and John is overwhelmed. And basically, what we're going to be talking about is how are we, as believers in the church, how are we? Because it talks about this scroll will be bitter to him. In his stomach, it'll be taste like honey in his mouth, but in his stomach, it'll be very bitter. And I'm going to raise the question is how, as we as Christians, as New Testament saints, how are we to stomach and handle God's judgments, these revelations of judgment? How do we handle that today? It's scary. How should we, in our personal lives as Christians, pray? This should motivate us. How do we deal with judgment? It's tough for us as Christians today because we don't see it. But yet, this is going to happen, and we need to pray and be a people waiting for the Lord. So we're going to talk about that.
If we take it seriously and believe it, it should be tough.
Yeah, all right.
I'm looking forward to that application on Sunday. So, with that said, see you next minute.